Peoria police say a house fire over the weekend is now a homicide investigation. On Saturday, 33-year-old Erica Jones was found inside a home in the 300 block of South Saratoga. The preliminary autopsy results reveal she died of strangulation before the fire. Also, the Peoria County coroner says forensics suggest it was done by someone else. Now, a man was found outside the home that night and taken to the hospital with injuries. Now, signs, candles, and balloons rest outside the house. A coworker and longtime friend of Jones says she was a loving and vibrant person.
And unfortunately, at the end, a mother lost her daughter. The daughter lost her mother. The brother lost her sister. We lost our friend. It's sad.
PCAP will host a murder stand-down for Erica Jones Thursday at 6 p.m. at the Gateway Building. Continuing coverage on a story we first brought you back in February. A tornado damaged much of the village of Naplate. WMBD's Brianna Lee joins us live in the studio with an update on how the community is recovering from this winter's devastating tornado. Brianna?
Alyssa, I took a trip to Naplate Village this morning, and the natives are still picking up the pieces from the tornado damage. But their fire department just received a $10,000 grant that will help them get back on their feet. The Satellite Broadcast Communications Association wanted to help the fire department afford a new tornado siren. Naplate Village Fire Chief John Nevins says they were very fortunate the department didn't lose any other equipment.
But their generous donation helped us to be able to have a new system installed, which is a communication device, which is what they do. It helped us not only replace our system, but upgrade our system.
The original tornado siren fell off the Pelkington glass factory when the tornado hit. The new one has since been put up behind the Naplate Village Fire Department. Alyssa?
Thanks, Brianna. Well, it's that time of year when school is out and summer break has officially kicked into gear. We're now a few weeks into what is known as the 100 deadliest days for teen drivers. Bree Douglas explains what One Highway Patrol is advising to prevent teens from losing their lives behind the wheel.
I'll usually have my volume button on, and if I hear like a ding, sometimes I'll look over and see if I get a text message, and it's very tempting to look at the message.
Laura, so when you get behind the wheel, what kind of driver are you?
Kind of not a crazy one, but I'm on my phone a little bit with my music. I try to scroll through my music.
Inattention is the leading cause of all traffic crashes in the state of Missouri, and we know that nationwide traffic crashes in general are the leading cause of teen death. That phone, if it rings, you've just got to look at it, turn the ringer off, turn the notifications off.
About 71% of teenagers involved in traffic crashes aren't wearing their seatbelts. And specifically in Missouri, the Highway Patrol says that teens are the worst violators of the seatbelt law.
Our young people are the ones that we are training to drive. They're the ones that we are pounding into their head, put your cell phone down, always buckle up. Yet they're the ones that aren't wearing their seatbelts at a higher rate.
I'm more on the lines of if I see a cop, I'll put it on real fast. I always wear my seatbelt, so I don't, if I get into a crash, I don't want to be ejected and die from it.
Sergeant Lukenhoff says you're 45 times more likely to survive a traffic crash with a seatbelt on than with it off. 300 people were killed this year in the state of Missouri, and 67% of them were not wearing their seatbelts.
You think back to, that teenage mentality of I'm bulletproof, it's not going to happen to me. But unfortunately it does.
Police say it's not always the obvious driving distractions like the phone or friends in the car that are hazardous. Eating and drinking can also interfere with safe driving. First, vets found it in Chicago. Now it's in central Illinois. Confirmed cases of dog flu are popping up right in our backyard. Vets are sending out a warning to pet owners to take caution when socializing their dogs. This is a new strain of the influenza, so if you've previously had your dog vaccinated, it will not protect your pet. Vets in central Illinois are encouraging pet owners to have their dogs vaccinated as soon as possible. If your dog contracts the flu, make sure to keep it inside and away from other dogs for at least 21 days. A nonprofit group will once again make its way to central Illinois to help search for a missing Pekin teenager. Trucks for Kids volunteers first came to central Illinois Saturday to search for 13-year-old Robert B. Jr. That search was unsuccessful, so the group will return on June 25th. In the last 2 years, the organization found all 37 of the children it set out to find, and every child was found within just 2 weeks. Well, drivers going through Morton can expect repair work on the highway. IDOT says there will be a single lane closure on I-155 at exit 31. The lane closure is not necessary for joint repair work, on the overpass and will be in effect from 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. The work is expected to be completed by this Friday. If you're looking for a tasty way to cool off this summer, you might want to reconsider. We'll explain. And it's been 1 year since the deadliest mass shooting on American soil. How those lost are being remembered.
And it's been an awfully hot day in central Illinois. High temperatures returning to the 90s today. At least the humidity isn't so bad. Unfortunately, more hot and humid weather is on the way. But tomorrow, it could be dangerously hot. We'll have a look at that forecast coming up. And heading into the weekend, a chance for some hit or miss storms off and on. It certainly won't be storming all week. However, Alyssa, it has been incredibly dry the past few weeks. Farmers certainly needed some moisture. We might get just a little bit of it this week.
That's for sure. It's just a little bit too hot for me.
It is.
I think towards the end of the week when we get that relief, that's
it'll
like
start
perfect.
to feel a little better. The bad thing with the rain coming in, while it might cool us off when it rains, as soon as it moves out, then it's just even worse than it was before it even rained at all.
Oh, man.
Oh, well.
All right. Well, thanks, Chris. Still ahead, a local ice cream shop is closed, but there's still a way to get your hands on your favorite treats.
You're watching WMBD News at 5.
With the heat here and temps expected to be in the 90s, several buildings in Peoria will serve as cooling centers. City leaders are inviting people to come cool off. Peoria City Hall and the Peoria Police Department lobby are open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The Central Fire Station lobby is also a cool down location and will be open from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. All other fire stations will be open to the public until 9 p.m. But if the crew gets a call, people will have to step out until the fire units return to the station. A heads up for those of you looking for a sweet way to cool off. The Baskin-Robbins at Sheridan Village is now closed. The Illinois Department of Revenue says the business's certificate of registration has been revoked. That location has been closed since May 22nd. However, there are 2 other Peoria locations that people can visit. The Illinois Department of Revenue declined to comment, saying they do not talk about tax records due to confidentiality. Gas prices in Peoria are nearly 30 cents cheaper than a year ago. That's according to GasBuddy.com. The average cost for a gallon of gas in the area last week was $2.23. That's 6 cents down from the previous week and down 29 cents compared to the same week in 2016. Meanwhile, in Bloomington, the average price from last week was at $2.13. Statewide, the average price is at $2.24. Now nationally, the price is at $2.33. Coming up, it's been 1 year since the massacre at a nightclub in Orlando, Florida. We take a look at how people in the community remember those who lost their lives.
You're watching WMBD News at 5.
Today marks 1 year since the deadliest mass shooting on American soil, and hundreds have gathered at Orlando's Pulse nightclub to pay their respects and offer support to survivors, victims, families, and first responders. Kristen Holmes has the report from Orlando.
Hundreds gathering outside Pulse nightclub Monday to honor those killed 1 year ago. The names of each of the 49 victims read aloud. Just one of several events in Orlando and across the country for Orlando United Day. Officials urging people to engage in acts of love and kindness. While the community rallies together in support for so many of those impacted, the road to recovery has just begun.
People ask me all the time, like, how do you feel? Like, how do you feel since this has happened?
Patience Carter continues to heal. The NYU student and 2 of her friends were on vacation when they decided to go to Pulse nightclub.
It literally was the time of our lives. Like, we were so excited, and then boom, the gunshots start.
Carter shot in both legs, a bullet shattering her femur. Her friend Akira Murray lost her life when 29-year-old Omar Mateen opened fire in the club, holding hostages for hours before being shot and killed by police, committing the worst mass shooting in American history. The Pulse nightclub now being transformed into a permanent memorial.
My heart goes out to these families, but thank God we have a resilient community.
A community that promises to never forget what happened here 1 year ago.
I still got a lot of fight left in me.
Reporting in Orlando, I'm Kristen Holmes.
President Donald Trump tweeting today, quote, "We will never forget the victims who lost their lives 1 year ago today in the horrific Pulse nightclub shooting. Hashtag Orlando United Day." First Lady Melania Trump has officially moved into the White House. She tweeted this picture from inside the presidential mansion Sunday night. Her message said, "Looking forward to the memories we'll make in our new home." Mrs. Trump stayed in New York after President Trump was sworn in. She said she wanted to allow their 11-year-old son Barron to finish his school year before moving down to Washington. Now, since the inauguration, the First Lady made visits to D.C., and she accompanied the president on his first overseas trip last month. Well, if you have any cans of spaghetti and meatballs in the pantry, check the label before you eat them. More than 700,000 pounds of that food is being recalled because it may contain milk. Now, milk is not listed on the label, but food safety officials say some breadcrumbs containing milk may have mistakenly ended up in the cans. They were sold nationwide under several brand names, including Chef Boyardee, Libby's, and Del Pino's. Consumers should throw away that food or take it back to the store. Well, don't go anywhere. Chris has your final look at the forecast next.
You're watching WMBD News at 5.
Welcome back. Let's check in with Lauren Langer for a look at what's coming up tonight on WMBD. Hey, Lauren.
Hi, Alyssa. Coming up at 6, more on the rebuilding efforts in the village of Naplate, how progress is being made after this past February's tornado. Plus, police in Bloomington are investigating 2 armed robberies. And warmer weather means that more insects are coming. We'll tell you how to keep you and your family protected from bug bites. We'll have more on all these stories coming up at 6. Back to you.
Thanks, Lauren. And the hot weather.
It feels good standing in the air conditioning right now.
It does.
Oh, I'm glad I'm not outdoors right now. I'm not rappelling off a hot building.
A few degrees hotter than I'm comfortable with.
Yes.
Yeah.
That threshold was hit about 12 degrees ago for me.
Yeah.
If it gets over 82, I start to cry and ball up into the fetal position on the floor. But that's just me.
Little bit of relief is coming.
Eventually, but we've got to get through the next couple of days first. Let's take a look at your forecast tonight. Temperatures, if you're expecting a cool down, you're going to be disappointed. 73 tonight. It'll feel a little muggy as well. Hot, humid tomorrow. High of 93, but a heat index could certainly climb to about 100 tomorrow afternoon. So stay well hydrated. There will be numerous chances of storms throughout the week. We are down a couple of inches in the last couple of weeks, so any moisture will be welcomed. It looks like we could see cooler temperatures moving in by early next week.
So staying hydrated and the sunscreen too, the other big one.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Chris. Thanks for joining us. WMBD News is available on air, online, and on the go. You can head over to our website, ciproud.com. You can also get the latest news on our app for your phone or tablet. We'll see you right back here at 6.